today's video, I'm going to be giving a tribute to one of the best things that came out from Ghana, Thomas Teye Yakubu Partey. After 5 seasons with the club, Partey has finally called it quits, and in as much as many fans are on the divide about this issue, some are happy he's gone, some are kind of disappointed he's gone. But one thing we know for sure that Partey served us well, and I just want to use this video to honor him. Just speak about what I loved about him, the good times, the bad times, and just to relish, the time spent with him, because basically it's a tribute. Obviously, he's about to leave to Saudi Arabia or Turkey or Barcelona, wherever he finds himself next. But I just wish him the very best. He was someone that really did well for us now, and I'm just here to give my thanks. So I'll probably just start with the life Arsenal had before Partey. He was in Atletico Madrid. He played 188 games in 7 seasons for them. And in those 7 seasons, he actually spent 5 seasons playing for them and 2 full seasons on loan at Mallorca and Almeria. And in his time at Atletico, he won a couple of trophies under Diego Simeone. They won the 2017/18 Europa League. I think they had Radamel Falcao that time, was like the key striker for them, if I recall correctly. And in the Super Cup match in 2018, Partey was part of the team that won that as well. He joined Arsenal in the 2021 season, but apparently, he had played 3 La Liga games before his release clause was activated in the last day of the transfer window. But Atletico actually won the La Liga that season, and Partey still got a winner's medal. Prior to Partey joining Arsenal were in the full trenches. The 1920 season was the season where we finished in 8th place after Unai Emery was sacked in November and Mikel Arteta took over in December after Freddie Ljungberg had played a couple of games. So that season, our main defensive midfielders were Mohamed Elneny, Matteo Guendouzi, and Lucas Torreira. We were in the full trenches that time, man. Guendouzi was decent, but he didn't like that cutting edge. He just had the shaggy hair moving up and down. He was really just quite good at passing the ball, I guess, but he wasn't an imposing presence. I kind of liked Lucas Torreira. He was like a pit bull, like all those little pit bulls that used to hurry everyone around, but eventually he got lost in the shuffle. When he joined the club initially, he looked like a very nice deal, but after a while he kind of lost it. And then he, obviously had already been a squad player at best. So it was very clear that Arsenal needed a new enforcer in the middle of the park. So when Arteta worked with the Edu to activate his release clause, Arsenal fans were elated, because obviously we've seen Partey playing Atletico and he had this calming presence about him, very composed lad with loads of dreadlocks back in the day. So when he made the move, Arsenal fans were actually very happy, and he started basically on fire, doing very well for the club, and he kind of gave us a different dimension to what we're used to seeing in our central defensive midfield. But one thing Arsenal fans did not enjoy with Partey was the plethora of injuries. Oh my God. I went to Transfer Market, which is one of the best websites when you want to get stats like this, to just check how many games Partey missed on injury, how many days he also got injured, and how many types of injuries he had. In Partey's time at Arsenal, he missed 421 days due to injury. And in those 421 days, he missed 81 games. Oh my God, that's a whole lot of games. Let's put it in context. A full season is 38 games, right? And the second season after that is 76 games. So basically, if it was only the Premier League we're talking about, Partey missed 2 full seasons worth of games in the Premier League alone. Then he had 10 injuries. So his first major injury was a hip injury he suffered in December. That was his first season with us, December 2020. And he was out for 40 days. He missed 11 games in that spell. Then sometime in February, when he came back, he got an hamstring injury that made him miss 4 games. Towards the end of that campaign, sometime in like June, July, going into the new season, he suffered a muscle injury that kept him for a long time. Then, of course, there were the groin injuries, there were the thigh injuries, there were the muscle injuries. Like, oh my God, Partey was just like glass pretty much. So, one thing that we really missed from Partey was his availability. In as much as he was a very, very, very good player for the club, there were times Arsenal struggled badly without him, and most times we always had to count on someone like Elneny, who was not really a trusted player, to fill in when Partey was always out injured. And that was something that the club, really struggled with, because Partey was a player that was very decent when he was available, but due to the fact that he was not always around from time to time, it was a challenge for the club. But we just had to make do. But let's talk about some of the good things. He played 167 games for Arsenal. He had 9 goals and created 8 assists. Obviously, you would not expect him to be on the end of the goals due to the fact that he's a defensive midfielder. But Partey was someone that scored some very classic goals. In his first season at Arsenal, he didn't score any goal. That's in the 2021 season. But in the 21-22 season, he scored 2 goals. And they were both headers. One was in the 3-1 win against Aston Villa, and the other one was in the 1-0 win over Leicester. In his third season at the club, which was the 22-23 season, that was the season where Arsenal were challenging for the Premier League title, he scored 3 goals. One was against Tottenham, which is one of basically the best goals he has ever scored. You can see from that picture. It was a magnificent caller. Oh my God, that goal was beautiful. So like all shades of beautiful. Like imagine you pressing your PlayStation 5 pad, and you just put your hand on arrow 2 and you just press that box. Don't mind me, I'm a Pro Evolution guy, even if I play FIFA from time to time. So when you press the arrow 2 and press that box, there's that beautiful call that goes round, and it was so amazing. There were 2 Tottenham players marking him. There was an unsighted Hugo Lloris. And when he called that ball around the 2 players and he went into the net, the Emirates went into raptures. That was one of the best goals that we witnessed in that campaign. He also got in on the act when we trounced Nottingham Forest 5-0 with a right-footed shot. Then he also scored in the 3-2 win over Bournemouth. That 3-2 win was a game we'll never forget, where Reece Nelson scored a very late goal. And that's why we're thinking that, this was the season they're going to win it. But we don't know how that panned out. Partey got injured, Saliba got injured, and when Holding came into the team, the struggles continued. But last season was his highest in terms of goals scored. He scored 4 goals last season. The first one was in September when we played Aston Villa. I remember that game. I think Trossard scored the first goal, then Partey scored the second goal. That was the game where Ryan made those incredible saves from Oli Watkins. That's a double save or so that was like really outstanding. Then when Arsenal beat Nottingham Forest 3-0 at the Emirates, he also scored a good goal there. Then when Manchester City came to town and got whooped with 5 goals, I know one Aries goal was the pick of the bunch, but Partey scored a very good goal. That I think it's a deflection of John Stones' ball, if I remember clearly. Yeah, that Ortega was kind of rooted to the spot. Then his last goal was in the draw against Brentford, where it was like a counter-attack that everyone was shocked to see Partey score such a goal, because he came from the defense and ran all the way. I think I don't think Rice or Odegaard, and then laid the ball to him and just wiped it with the first try. So, he scored 9 goals for Arsenal, and they were all important goals because they all came in different times when we needed him to score and stuff like that. Then in terms of his discipline, over the course of 167 games, he had 30 yellow cards and had only 1 red card in his Arsenal career. That came in the Carabao Cup game, if I remember clearly. And of course, he was someone that served us very well. Now, one thing I thought about Partey was his style of play. He knew how to take the tempo of the game. He gave this Andrea Pirlo vibes, someone that had complete confidence in what he was doing with the ball, because he showed great composure. Partey was someone that never got perturbed by the position around him. He always knew what he wanted to do. Just reminded me of someone like John Mikel Obi as well, a Nigerian, one of our greatest Nigerian exports in the Premier League, who was always taking 2 steps ahead when the ball comes to him. So when Partey receives the ball, he already knew what he wanted to do. If he's to hold the play for his team to move up the pitch, he would do that. But he was never jittery with the ball. He was always very composed. He was also good in progressing the play, but as he got older, his progressing kind of dropped a tad bit. But Partey was very good at progressing play. One of his most distinct features was his anticipation. Partey was the kind of guy that when he anticipates the ball from the position, is a turnover straight up, and the crowd was just appreciative of when he did that. And in several games where we are on the back foot, Partey would just switch the play and take it out. Of course, he had close control. He was very, very good with his feet, with the ball at his feet. He was a very good technician for the club. And once I thought about him, he was a calm destroyer. He kind of gave me this Gilberto Silva kind of vibes. A defensive midfielder that didn't need to make 1,001 tackles or to try to show that, hey, I'm the one on the pitch. But Partey's influence was always there, and that's something that we will greatly miss. I'm hoping to see what the men will come to offer us, which I believe might be better than what Partey did. But there was this calmness that Partey had about him and instilled confidence in his teammates that made him, a general when he was on the pitch. And for 5 seasons, he gave that to Arsenal. And of course, he's leaving now, and we're going to miss all that. I'm just saying that I will really miss Thomas Partey. He was a player that did very well for Arsenal in his time. He was a very classy player. He was a protector, and his technique was second to none. So I'm wishing him the very best in his future endeavors. Obviously, he's 32 now, and I'm sure he'll want to get that final big contract where he'll, retire with. And I understand this, how he feels. Basically, it's something that Arsenal was not prepared to keep Partey on any higher salary as he wanted. It was very evident that the club was going to give him a Jorginho role, because as soon as Bemendi came, Partey was going to basically not play as much games as he would have hoped. But he was trying to get a pay bump that would justify him staying on the bench. But better would not be a party to that. Party to that. So I'll just say it's been a pleasure watching Partey for these 5 seasons, and I wish him the very best. He was truly a world-class player. I know that his next club is going to enjoy him. And he's probably biding his time, enjoying his holidays, and before the new season comes, we'll probably hear the story of him, carrying the jersey in his new club. Wherever that is, I wish him all the best.